Silicon Valley promised us innovation and a better work-life balance, but what happens when the pursuit of productivity demands we split ourselves into two? This year, the Apple Plus TV drama Severance leads the 2025 Emmy nominations with 25 nods. Its haunting portrayal of life inside Lumen Industries, a biotech giant where employees undergo a surgical split between their work and personal selves, feels less like fiction and more like a cautionary vision of our overhyped, optimized corporate cultures.
I give consent for the Lumen Corporation.
And it's a good corporation.
To sever my memories between my work life
And my personal life.
I am aware that this alteration is comprehensive and irreversible.
I make these statements freely.
Well, today we're diving past Lumen's white hallways and emotion protocols to talk about the real workplace disconnect and how Severance might be hitting closer to the truth than we think. Joining us this morning is Joyel Crawford, workplace expert and career coach. Joyel, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me today.
So while I was watching the show, it came out and while we were still in the pandemic, many people were still working from home, and it was strange, but it eventually started to you started to make these connections. What made the show so popular? I mean, it got these Emmy nods, but it really became this really cult-like hit.
Yes, yes. There were so many similarities. I spent about 20 years in corporate America, and I worked in human resources, so it was interesting to kind of see things from the employee standpoint and from an HR standpoint. And it's severely an exaggeration.
Sure.
It's a
Yeah.
satirical exaggeration, but there were some similarities. Professionals feel like they have to kind of split their identity in half and show up with their work selves and then their life selves, and in the before times we had our work you and then we had our home you, but now after the pandemic, that boundary is gone, is like completely vanished, and so there's an emotional cost.
Sam Waterman, he's an expert in the histories and theories of work at Northwestern University. He writes that the show's popularity may stem from people wanting the separation of work life that we had before the pandemic. What are your thoughts about that? That people are just wanting that separation again, because right now, our work life and our home life blended together on our Zoom calls.
Yes, I mean it's just all blurred together. There's no work-life balance. It's like work-life blur now, right? For many of us, we've just moved the burnout from the concrete office to our living rooms. Because there's never been a time where we've been able to get on a conference call and throw in a load of laundry, and so we work all day and then come downstairs and wake up wearing yesterday's stress. So there's this blending and blur, but there are times where we need to kind of enforce our boundaries. That's why self-advocacy is so important, to make sure that we have those boundaries set.
And I wanted to ask you this question, since I want to get to how you balance all that in a moment. But first, the show did put forth a corporation that rewards employees with kind of trivial perks like waffle parties, while denying employees
the dance experience.
Yes, while denying these employees fundamental information about the purpose of their work, which a lot of people are running into issues now. Do you think this is something that rings true with many people and contributes to the show's popularity?
Absolutely. I mean, waffle parties, donuts, free pizza, ping pong, it's very, very similar. And it's tongue in cheek, but it's a nod to the realities that perhaps there's something else going on in the background, that lack of transparency.
Right.
That people crave, and that's so important to the productivity of the workforce.
And so I think people may be viewing it as some of these little parties are not really meaningful, and they would rather more transparency, which is, I think, what the show's getting apart. Is it mentally healthy, though? Yeah. Is it mentally healthy, though, to split our work and home life into separate entities, where at work we just don't talk about home and vice versa?
Yeah, there used to be that thing, where, and Sam Waterman talks about that. There used to be, like back in the day, Charles Dickens, Great Expectations. There used to be that where you have this wonderful work thing, and then you go home and you don't talk about work. But because of the pandemic, or because of working from home, there's no separation of that. And my husband and I try to do that, where we have like a download where we just talk about the work stuff, and then we cut it off and talk about life, or we watch Severance, or we binge on any other things. But there needs to be boundaries, and so it's important to get that together so that you can have that work-life integration, is what I'd like to call it.
Yeah.
Even if you are working remotely.
Still set the boundaries even while you work remotely, for sure. Joyel Crawford, I wish we could talk more. Workplace expert and career coach, thank you so much for joining us this morning and providing your insight. We know that this show is gaining a lot of popularity, and I'm sure so does your work as well, while people see this kind of displayed in an exaggerated way on TV. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.